So today we will be starting with our new topic, that is shear reinforcement. In the previous lectures we have discussed about the topic that was development length. Hope you have watched all these videos regarding development length, and from today's lecture onwards we will be starting shear reinforcement. So basically going through a brief idea of shear reinforcement, that what do we mean by shear reinforcement. Shear reinforcement are also known as stirrups. So if you could see here, the combination of a column and beam is prescribed. We have discussed development length in the previous lectures, and now we'll be discussing stirrups. So these vertical lines, that are vertical green lines that you can see here, are stirrups, or you can say are shear reinforcement. As the name suggests, these reinforcements are provided to counterbalance or to withstand the shear forces that are acting on the beam. As we have discussed in our previous lectures, that there were two forces or two particular forces that were acting on a beam, that were bending moment and shear force. We have looked upon bending moment, or we have discussed bending moment, and regarding that, the normal conventional steel, that is longitudinal steel bars, or you can say main steel bars, are provided to withstand that bending moment and that is acting in the beam. And to resist the shear forces that are acting in the beam, we always need to provide this shear reinforcement. So in this topic we will be discussing that what are the stirrups, what are they made of, and basically what is the spacing we need to provide to withstand the shear force that is acting on the beam. Now looking into a more 3D view of this shear reinforcement, here you can see it is a cross section of a beam element. Here you can see that a longitudinal steel are provided, that means main steel are provided, that we have discussed in the earlier chapters. We were designing this main steel, that we called it as AST, clear, area steel in tension. And you can see here that steel bar or longitudinal steel bar are also provided in the compression zone. So these were ASC. If it is not a doubly beam, means if it was a singly beam, these bars were called anchor bars, clear. And being a doubly beam, it will be called as ASC, that is area steel in compression. So the function of stirrups here is comprising of two things, that is the first function is to resist the shear force that is acting on the beam, and the second is to hold or to hold the beams or to hold the steel bars in position, clear. So here you can see that the vertical bars are provided and are hooked upon. These bars are known as stirrups, or we can say shear reinforcement. So we will be designing this. If you look in detail, you can see that the bar size differs, or the bar diameter differs. The diameter that are provided in the main steel, that is AST or ASC, are of higher dia as compared to that are provided in stirrups. We will be looking in this furthermore when we will be starting our sum. So how to start with stirrup? Now before starting with our normal procedure, I must repeat it again, that if the IS codes are not with you at this moment, pause this video and take your IS codes, that is IS 456, because we will be looking into new equations and new page numbers from now to, or from this lecture onwards, clear. So first thing we will be looking at the first equation that will be using in each and every sum. It is located in our page 72 of your IS code. You can see here that the clause refers as clause 40. So clause 40 is for limit state of collapse shear. So everything that will be doing, or that will be dealing with shear forces or shear reinforcement, we will be looking upon this clause, which is situated or which is located on page number 72, clear. So the first equation that we will be looking upon is tau v equal to Vu by Bd, that is nominal shear stress. Tau stands for shear stress, here V is for nominal, so it is a nominal shear stress, and it is equation equal to Vu by Bd. Vu is our shear force, and Bd, here you can see that it is mentioned B subscript D. It is a printing mistake, it is not B subscript D, it is B into D. So do not mention or do not overwrite anything in your code, just we need to understand and we need to use these equations in our examination point of view, clear. So the final equation will be tau v equal to V upon Bd. Bd, that is our cross section area, clear. Now we will be looking at the steps that we will be using to solve the numericals, as every numerical comprises of the same steps. So it will be beneficial for you if you write this steps that we will be dealing with and also mention the page numbers referring to it. It will be helpful to you while solving these numericals on your own for examination purpose. So beginning with the steps, the first step will be to calculate tau v. Our first step will always be to calculate tau v, and tau v, as we have seen, it is we can get it from page number 72 here, that is tau v equal to vu by bd. Clear? Now the second thing will be to find our tau c. Now what is the difference between tau v and tau c? Tau, as I said, it refers to shear stress. V refers to nominal shear stress as mentioned in our code, that is clause 40.1, and tau c, that will be shear stress due to concrete. Clear? Now again, everything is prescribed in code. We just need to refer the pages, or we just need to know where which equation is being located. So for tau c, we need to move our page and move on to page number 74. So moving on to page number 74, you can see here table is mentioned. It is table 19, design shear strength of concrete tau c. That is, the unit is Newton per mm square. So from this table we will be finding tau c. Now how to find tau c? In first column you can see it is mentioned 100 as by bd, and if you could look upon the previous chapters that we have seen, 100 as by bd will be equal to pt. If we make AST as the subject in this equation, it comes out to be AST equal to PT BD by 100. It is just a modification of that equation, and a PT is subjected in this case. So PT will be 100 AS by BD. So the first column here is for PT, that is percentage of tension reinforcement. And using this PT and the grade of concrete, we can find from this table tau c, that will be shear strength for concrete. So the first step will be to find tau v and tau c. Now we need to compare whether tau v is less than tau c or tau v is greater than tau c. So our sum will be differentiated in these two cases, that whether tau v is less than tau c or tau v is greater than tau c. So the first case, it could be that tau v is less than tau c. In this case, we always will be providing minimum shear reinforcement. Whenever nominal shear stress is less than the shear strength of concrete, we won't be providing additional steel content to it. We will just be providing minimum shear reinforcement, that is as per our criteria mentioned in IS code. So for that, you need to move on to page number 48 of your IS code. On page number 48, you can see here that clause 26.5.1.6 is mentioned. On page number 48, you will see this clause, and it states that it is used for minimum shear reinforcement. Clear? So we will be designing according to this clause, that is minimum shear reinforcement. Here you can see equation is mentioned ASV. Again ASV. SV stands for shear, V stands for shear, and S stands for stirrups. So area of stirrups in shear upon DSV. B stands for width of beam, obviously. SV stands for spacing of stirrups. Clear? We will be looking upon later on. Here everything is mentioned here. And in the RHS portion, it is mentioned 0.4 upon 0.87 F5. So from this equation, we will be solving our case to find the spacing of stirrups and to design our stirrups. But again, if tau v is less than tau c, as per our previous step. So if tau is less than tau c, we will be following this equation, and the next criteria will be tau v greater than tau c. Now you will ask that, well, what to do when tau v equal to tau c? Generally, tau v equal to tau c is not obtained in our equations, but if you get an answer tau v equal to tau c, then also we'll be using this case only. So for your understanding, let us say that it is tau v greater than or equal to tau c. Clear? So whenever tau v is equal to tau c, we always will be providing shear reinforcement only. So whenever you get tau v is greater than tau c, we will be referring to page number 74. Page number 74 of your IS code, and you can see this table mentioned in the bottom half of your page 74. You can see these equations mentioned, Here it is said that from this paragraph onwards that shear reinforcement shall be provided to carry a shear equal to. So first we need to find this shear force. Let us name this shear force as VUS. Clear? Let us name this is shear force at VUS. So the equation will be VUS equal to VU minus tau CBD. So the first thing will be to find this VUS, and the equation for it will be VUS equal to VU minus tau CBD. The strength of shear reinforcement VUS shall be calculated as below. Clear? Now these equations, basically the bottom equations are provided to find the spacing of the stirrups. Now for that, after finding this VUS, we will be referring to these vertical lines, that is our stirrup portion. Clear? So for that, you can see that clause A is mentioned. Clause A is for vertical stirrups. So it will be provided in the question whether the stirrups are vertical or inclined or bent ups are provided. Here we can see three cases. The first case, that is case A, is for vertical stirrups. The second case is for inclined stirrups, and the third is for bent up provided or not. So in this equation we will be always making SV as the subject. In this equation we will always be making SV as the subject, and by making SV as the subject we will be finding the spacing of stirrups. So like this, spacing of stirrups can be provided or can be found by making SV as the subject in this case, and again we need to check. After providing the spacing, we need to check whether we have provided the correct value or not. For that we need to refer three cases, and these three cases are provided on your page number 47. So moving again back to page number 47, we can see here that it is mentioned clause 26.5.1.5. 26.5.1.5 minimum spacing of shear reinforcement. If you look at the statement, you will be knowing it better that what is being asked. So looking in the statement, it is said that the maximum spacing of shear reinforcement measured along the axis of member shall not exceed, means it should be less than or equal to 0.75 D. So this will be our first check. Our first check will be to find 0.75 D. Clear? Second thing will be, again for vertical stirrups, generally will be asked vertical stirrups only. And the second thing will be here, in no case shall the spacing exceed 300 mm. Keep in mind, this is asked, or this statement is given in page number 47, and this portion is being mentioned in page 48. So you need to refer both these pages. It is continuation part in page number 48. So in this case you can see that it is mentioned in no case shall the spacing exceed 300 mm. So our second criteria will be 300, and our third criteria will be the minimum steel requirement. Clear? So the third criteria will be minimum steel requirement. That is, from this equation we will make SV as the subject. The same equation is being used, just we have made SV as the subject, and equation can be transformed to this form. So we will be getting four values. Again we will be getting four values. First value from this equation, that was SV. This will be the second equation, the third equation, and fourth equation. So SV, the final spacing, will be smaller of these four values. This will be our final answer. So again keep in mind, we need to find four values. First value we will be obtained from page number 74, and the remaining third values will be obtained from page number 47 and 48. Out of these four values we need to provide the smaller value, and that will be our final answer. So these are the steps that we will be seeing in the entire chapter or entire topic, that is shear reinforcement. So moving on to the first sum, while solving numerical you will get through in detail regarding these equations. So moving on to our sum, the question here is a simply supported beam 250 cross 500 mm effective, that is cross section area is mentioned here, is supported on a 5 meter span. So the span of beam or length of beam is given as 5 meter and is subjected to total service UDL. Again keep in mind, service UDL. Service UDL, that means a live load is mentioned, of 40 kN per meter over entire span. Four numbers of 22 mm diameter tensile bars are provided. That means AST is given. AST are 4 into 2π/4 22 square. Designed for shear reinforcement, and we need to use M20 and Fe415 bars. Gamma F, that is partial safety factor, is given, or you can say factor of safety. Again we need to assume certain data. So if factor of safety is not given in the question, we will always assume to be 1.5, that we are doing since the chapter 1. Clear? So this was our question. Now we will move how to solve this. So as we saw, the first step was to find tau v, and the equation for tau v was vu by bd. B and D, the cross section, are being given in the question, as you can see, but the numerator portion, that is vu, shear force, is not given in the question. So our first step will be to find shear force, then we can proceed to the remaining steps that we have saw. If again there is a doubt regarding the steps, pause this video, move back and revise the steps that we have discussed. Clear? So we'll be starting with our sum. We need to find shear force, that is vu, and for that B, that is width, depth, effective depth, it is mentioned as effective, and again assuming cover it to be 50 mm, so the overall depth will be 550 mm. Why need to find overall depth? Because again service UDL is given. Service UDL, that means live load, is mentioned in question. Clear? And we need to find total load. So the total load will be dead load plus live load. And what will be dead load? As we have seen, it will be the self weight of beam. Clear? If it was mentioned factored load in question, then no need to do these things. But here service load is mentioned in the question, that means a live load is given. So you need to find the factored load, and to find factored load, it will be combination of dead load and live load. So the first thing will be to find self weight of beam, and self weight equation will be rho b d. Keep in mind capital D, that is our overall depth. Clear? And it comes out to be 3.43 kilonewton per meter. Now as this is a design problem, you can keep this value and solve further, it will be okay. And as we are designing, we are not analyzing. If we were analyzing, we will keep this value only as fixed value, but as we are designing, we can round it off to a higher value. It is up to you whether to round off it or not. Clear? Here I have rounded it off to 4, and the service load will be given, it is given in question as 40 kilonewton per meter. So the total load comes out to be 43.43 if you don't round off, and if you round off, it comes out to be 44 kilonewton per meter. And then factor load will be the total load multiplied by 1.5. It comes out to be 66. And then we need to find the shear force. Now shear force, as you have already discussed in the subject mechanics of solids, shear force for a simply supported beam that has a UDL on it will always be equal to WL by 2. Clear? It will always be equal to WL by 2. The bending moment, that is maximum bending moment, will be equal to WL square by 8, whereas the shear force will be equal to WL by 2. So this is our WL length is already mentioned in question. So we'll be getting an answer 165 kilonewton. This will be our shear force. So now we'll be starting with the steps that we have discussed. The first step will be to find tau v. Tau v can be obtained by this equation again from page number 72, that we have discussed earlier. Tau v equal to vu by bd. Again keep in mind the numerator portion are in mm, so we need to convert this portion into Newton. So don't forget to multiply by its power, that is 10 raised to 3. We get an answer tau v equal to 1.32 Newton per mm square. That is our nominal shear stress will be equal to 1.32 Newton per mm square. Now our shear reinforcement starts basically with comparing or relating tau v and tau c. We have calculated tau v now, so we will be moving further and calculating, or we will be finding tau c, that is shear strength of concrete. And for that we will be moving to page number 74, and you will be using this table, that is table 19. So tau c, for tau c we need to find pt, and pt can be obtained from this equation, that is pt equal to 100 AST by BD. Here you can see it is mentioned also 100 AS by BD. AS is nothing but AST. Yeah? And steel, the content of steel is given in the question, that 4 numbers of 22 mm diameter bar are used. So AST comes out to be 1520. Substituting it here, we get pt equal to 1.216. We get pt equal to 1.216. Now important thing to be noted, that in this table we won't be getting the answer directly. If we are getting answer directly, then you are lucky enough to solve that. But if you are not getting answer directly, that means here you can see that our answer comes out to be 1.216. and in this table you can't see the value directly mentioned as 1.216. Here we can refer that our value falls between these two portions, that is between 1 and 1.25. Our value this comes or falls between these two portions, so we will be interpolating it. Again, we can't just round it off to 1.25. This method will be wrong, as we are dealing in minute numbers, or we are dealing with minute decimals. As you can see, the tau c value is 1.32. So we are dealing with minute decimal values. Clear? So for that we won't be rounding it off, we always will be interpolating in this case. So by interpolating it between 1 and 1.25, we get answer for 1.216 as 0.66, that is just somewhat below this value, that is 0.67 for M20 concrete. Clear? So by interpolating it we get an answer 0.66, and now we compare both these cases, that is tau v and tau c. So we get a relation that tau v is greater than tau c. Generally you will be getting this equation or this relation only, that tau v is greater than tau c, and if tau v is greater than tau c, then shear reinforcements are to be designed. Clear? If tau v is greater than tau c, then shear reinforcement are definitely to be designed. So for that we will be finding the equation that is mentioned in page 74. So pause this video and move on to page number 74 of your IAS code. Here you can see this equation that we have discussed earlier, that VU minus tau c BD, and that was VUS. So we will be finding this VUS, that VUS will be equal to VU minus tau c BD. VU, that was our shear force we have calculated earlier, minus tau c BD. This is our tau c B and D, that comes out to be 82500 Newton. Now we will be using this in this equation. Why? Because we will be using vertical stirrups. We always will be using vertical stirrups to solve our answer. If it is not mentioned in question, then also we will be assuming it to be vertical stirrups. So in this case we will be substituting the value VUS in this case, and we will be finding SV. Clear? And now our final step will be to provide spacing of stirrups. Our final step will be to provide spacing of stirrups. And in this case, keep in mind, these are to be assumed. It won't be mentioned in a question. If it is mentioned, then we have to take that only. But here we will always be assuming in each and every numerical of ours, we will be assuming two-legged 8 mm dia vertical stirrups of Fe250 steel. Now keep in mind, our main steel, that is our longitudinal steel, is always generally comprising of Fe415 bars. Here also in question it is mentioned as the main steel that are 4 numbers of 22 mm diameter. They are given as Fe415 bars or HYSD bars. But the stirrups or the shear reinforcement that we are providing will always be of mild steel. In every case, you can see in practical also, that on site also, everywhere the stirrups are always being provided of mild steel. So in each and every sum of ours, whenever we'll be designing shear reinforcement, we always will be providing 250 steel, that is Fe250 steel. Now what do you mean by these two-legged stirrups? For that we'll be referring to a figure. As you can see here, this diagram is for two-legged, this is 4-legged stirrups, and these are 6-leg stirrups. 8-leg stirrups are also there, but is not mentioned in our syllabus, so you will be seeing in the furthermore semesters. Basically for beam sections we will always be dealing with this, that is two-legged stirrups. Regarding beam, this can be provided in heavy beams, but they are generally provided in columns. This type of stirrups, that is 4-legged and 6-legged or 8-legged, are generally provided in columns, and in beams generally we are providing 2-legged stirrups. Now what do you mean by two-legged? Here you can see the vertical lines. Clear? Here you can see the vertical lines that are forming loops. So these loops there, or these vertical lines that are forming loops, are termed as leg. As you can see here, there are two vertical lines. It is named two-legged stirrups. In the second case, you can see here that there are 4 vertical lines. That means there are 2 loops. If you see properly, this will be our first loop and this will be our second loop. So calculating it, you get 4 vertical lines. So it is named as 4-legged stirrups. And same way, here 3 loops are mentioned. This first, second and third. 3 loops are mentioned, each carrying 2 legs, so it is a 6-legged stirrup. So this is how it is nomenclature, or it is named: 2-legged, 4-legged and 6-legged. Generally in beams we always will be using these 2-legged stirrups. These are called hooks. Hooks design is not included in our syllabus, but for your reference keep in mind they are provided always at 135 degrees. Means these hooks are always bent at 135 degrees for better bonding between steel or better holding of the bars. Clear? So in each and every sum of ours we will be using these 2-legged stirrups. Now to calculate our ASV, that was area of stirrups, the area of stirrups will always be using this equation. As we have used 8 mm diameter bars, our area will be pi by 4 into 8 square. Clear? As we have used 8 mm bars, and in each and every case we always will be using 8 mm diameter bars unless it is asked in something in question. Clear? Again, it is a 2-legged stirrups. So how many number of bars we can see in the vertical lines? 2. So we'll be multiplying it by 2. For 4-legged it will be 4 into pi by 4, 8 square. Clear? Similarly for 6-legged. So ASV in this case comes out to be 100.51 mm square. And now we'll be solving this case, that is SV equation. So SV's equation will be 0.87 Fy. Fy will be for stirrups. Keep in mind this, each and every equation is always for stirrup. It is not for our main steel. So in this case Fy will be 250. ASV, as we have discussed earlier, D will be the diameter, no, D will be the depth. Clear? Keep in mind diameter is always mentioned as phi. D will be our depth, that is effective depth, and VUS, as we have already seen earlier, VUS. So solving it, it comes out to be 132.49. So the spacing in this case comes out to be 132.49. So our answer is complete, but the checks are left, that whether we have to provide a sufficient or we need to increase the amount. And for that, as we have discussed, we will be moving to page number 47. So pause this video and move on to page number 47 of your IS code. There you can see this case, that first we need to find 0.75D. So 0.75D comes out to be 375 mm. So our first criteria is 375 mm. Second criteria will be on page 48, that in no case shall the spacing exceed 300. So the second case will be 300 mm, and third case can be obtained from this equation, that is minimum shear reinforcement. So whenever tau v is greater than tau c, we always need to find 4 values of SV. Clear? So this will be our first value from the equation that we get, and this will be our second, third and fourth. So out of these 4 values, we always will be providing the smaller one as our final answer. So while solving the fourth case, the answer comes out to be 218.6 mm. So out of this 4, that is 132, 375, 300 and 218, the smallest value is 132.49. So our final answer will be 132.49. Now how to write it in examination? We always will be writing in this form, that is providing SV, that is spacing, providing SV equal to 132 mm, and keep in mind it is always center to center distance. The distance between our stirrups or shear reinforcement is always considered to be center to center. So we will be writing as this, that providing SV equal to 132 mm. Why? Because we have rounded it off. We are not dealing with decimal numbers, so always will be rounding off to the lower value. Why lower value? Again, if we are talking about spacing, so if that is, our answer is 132.49. If we move it to 133 and if we move it to 132, the spacing will be increased in this case and the spacing will be decreased in that case. So whenever we are talking about spacing between bars, our bar or our beam will be stronger if we provide bars closely. Clear? Our beam will be stronger if we provide bars closely. So regarding spacing and rounding it off, we will always round it off to the lower value. In the previous cases, we were rounding it off to the higher value because those were either our diameter or dimensions or area, that is area of steel. Clear? But regarding spacing, always this spacing we will be using in this chapter and also in slabs. Whenever you are dealing with spacing, spacing case is we always will be rounding it off to the smallest value or smaller value. So we'll be rounding this 132.49 to 132. You can directly write here as 132.49 also. For GTU perspective, it is well and good. Yeah? So this will be our final answer. Now this will be our today's exercise problem. As we have discussed the shear reinforcement for the first time, do solve this equation. It will be beneficial for you because in GTU examination, one or two, maximum two sums are always been asked for shear reinforcements. Yeah? So we are keeping this lecture till now, and we will be seeing more in the next lecture. Thank you.